Welcome back to the channel. So today we will be starting our new series where we will be covering 30 interview question on PySpark, and these questions would be scenario based, and I would be taking the problem from Tawfiq's YouTube channel where he is solving the same problem in SQL. Okay, so let's start and let's read the challenge that we need to solve. So here the challenge is for pair of brands in the same year. Okay, so this challenge, if you read, it is little complicated to understand. Let me explain you with the help of these example input and output. So for pair of brands, okay, so basically if you can see here, we have two brand column, brand one and brand two in the same year, and we have another column that is year, which represents the years and their and the brands in that particular year. Okay, so this is what the example is. So basically Apple Samsung 2020 and Samsung Apple 2020. So this is pair, right? We say 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 1. This is what? This is pair, right? This is pair. So if you see, this is column 1 and this is column 2, right? Column 2. So the values are interchanged over here, right? So this we can say that pair, right? So this is what the pair means over here. And here we have the pair of brands, right? So the condition is if custom 1 is equal to custom 3 and custom 2 is equal to custom 4, then keep only one pair. So basically if we see the problem, we need to remove the redundant pair, right? So if you see here, row number 1 and row number 2, right? These four columns, if you see, they are exactly same, right? They are exactly same, and we have the pair of these two brands in year 2020, like Apple Samsung, Samsung Apple. So this is making what? This is making a pair, right? So in such scenario, we need to consider only, or we need to keep only one pair, right? We need to keep only one pair. So if you see this in like output, we have, out of these two records, we have only one record, right? We have only one record. So this is done. Now the second, so this we have covered the first condition, right? Now this is the second condition. In the second condition, the thing should be this custom 1 should equal to, if custom 1 is not equal to the custom 3 and custom 2 is not equal to custom 4, and we have the pair in the same year. So if you can see here, Apple Samsung, Samsung Apple, right? And year is 2021. So and these conditions, like these condition, if conditions is not matching, in such scenario we need to have the both the pair, right? So if you can see here, record this one and record this one. We have these two record from here, and we should have both the pair, right? Here we don't have any redundant thing, right? We don't have duplicates basically. This is also done. Okay. Now the third case is, this is the third case. The third case is for brands that do not have pairs in the same year, keep those rows as well. Okay. So if you can see here, okay, let me erase little bit. Okay. So if you can see here for this Google and OnePlus, right? So for Google, we don't have any pair, right? So this should be as it is. So this we can see in the record one. And OnePlus, nothing, like the brand name is OnePlus and nothing. In the year 2020, he, for this one, we don't have any pair, right? We don't have any pair like nothing and OnePlus, like nothing and OnePlus. So that's why we need to keep that record also as it is, because we don't have any duplicates. So this is the solution basically, or this is the problem, sorry, right? So how we can approach this problem? Like by reading this problem, we can understand we need to remove the duplicate or the duplicate pairs basically, right? So let's see how we can solve this problem, right? Okay. So there can be two scenarios. One is we can have have pair based on the condition, basically the same year, or second, we cannot have the pair, right? So these are the two possible cases, right? So what we can do, like since here we don't have any pair, we are returning the records as it is for these two, right? But the trickiest part is this one. So what we can do, we can have the concat of these three columns. We can have the concat of these three columns. So that will help us uh, finding if we have the pair or not. If we have the pair, then what will happen? There will be total two records, right? So let me explain you with this one. Okay. So what we will do, we will concat these three records. Sorry, these three columns. So the value would be Apple, Samsung. I'm writing in short, and 2020, right? This is for this one, and for this one, the second one, uh, what we will do, we will take the value which is smaller at first so that we can sort the data and have same. So we have Apple, this we will take this record first, and then Samsung and 2020, right? So you can see we have two records, right? And but for this one, we can see we only have only one record, right? Google, and there is null and then 2020, right? And there is nothing, no other record. So what we can do, we can generate these pair ID. We can generate these pair ID, and then once this pair ID column is generated, then we can have the row number. Why row number? Row number will let us know if we have more than one record or not, right? So basically, so the challenge is if we have only one record, then we can print that as it is, or we can take that in the output as it is. But if we have the two records, then these like criteria comes into the picture, right? If we have the two records, then what we need to check, if we have two records, then we need to check if these conditions, if this is matching, then we need to include that also, and if only have one record, then we just need to select that record, right? And if we have the one record, since we are using the row number, then we can simply write that row number is equal to 1. Those records should be selected, and if we have more than one record, then at that time we need to consider these conditions, right? That we can check and get the answer, right? So if we write the steps how we can solve this, so we can concat those records, right? We can concat, um, concat. Okay, so I have written wrong spelling. That's fine. Concat, and then once the data is concated, then we can partition the data and generate the row number. Row number will let us know if we have multiple records or not for the same partition, same pair ID or partition. The third is, once we have the row number, then we can select the row number equal to one record, right? Because for those particular records, we do not have duplicates, right? We don't have to remove. But in the case where we don't have such cases, then the fourth step comes, that is considering the condition, right? So we need to consider these four steps in order to solve this problem, right? So now you know everything. You can pause the video and try to solve this in PySpark. And if you cannot solve, then you may like continue watching this video, right? So let me jump to the Databricks notebook and solve this problem. Okay, so this is the same like input. I will provide the create statement in the description section. Okay, so here we have the import. So as we know, like we need this call, right? So we can import. So from pyspark.sql.functions import call. This we need, right? And okay, so since we need to generate a new column, that is pair ID. So what we will use? We will use with column, right? So we can write with column, and we can give the name as pair ID, and how this will be generated. So we need to use the concat, right? We need to use concat of brand 1, brand 2, and year. So since we are using the concat, so what we need to do, we need to import here the concat function, concat, right? Okay, so let me write what all things we need. We need brand 1, and then brand 2, and year. So these three columns we need, and let me write this as df1, df1 dot show. Okay, so now if you see here, we have this column pair ID, but if you see here, we need to have this like for this particular record, these two records, these are pair, these are correct pair, right? But we are simply concatenating brand 1, brand 2, brand 3 in a like blindly, right? These should be sorted, right? This should be in a correct order, basically, to have the same pair, like to identify this should be in the same order. So what we can do, we can use the when otherwise statement. So, and we will sort this data in the ascending order of the brand ID, right? Or brand value. So what we cannot write like this simply. We need to use uh, like this. So when uh, we can write like this column brand 1. Okay, so we need to keep the brand 1 brand with the smaller value first, and then the larger value. So if you can see here, Apple is smaller than Samsung in the alphabetical order, right? So our answer should be Apple Samsung 2020, not like Samsung Apple 2020, right? So the next thing we can do is we can write brand 2. So if this is the case, then we need to have concat brand 1, brand 2, and EO. So if this is not the case, then otherwise, so this is nothing but a simple case when statement in SQL, right? So the otherwise condition would be, let me copy this. Otherwise, yes, you guess it right. Brand 2 should come first and then brand 1, right? And since we are using the when over here, so we need to import when over here. Let me run this and let me run this. Okay, now if you see here, we have the this in proper order. Basically, the Apple is coming first, and then Samsung, and similarly here also, right? Okay, now we have the pair ID. The next thing was to generate the partition and then row number, right? Using that partition. So since we will have to use the window function, for that we will create the window specification, right? So we can write window specification is equal to window dot partition partition by, we will partition the data on what? We'll partition the data on pair ID, right? Because we need the value in that way. So order by column pair ID. So here in like APIs, we have to provide the order by, otherwise it will not work. And since we are using this window, so we need to import this, right? So we can write from pyspark.sql import window. Let me run this and let me run this. Okay, these two are done. Now we can simply write the uh, row number. So since we are generating a row number, like we are creating a new column, so we need to use with column, and we can write row number is equal to row number dot over and window specification. Window, and we can have here, we can have this in df2. Okay, dots. We can use only one df, that's fine, but we are writing over here in a new data frame. Okay, so row number is not defined, so we need to import the row number from here. So row number, let me run this and let me run this. Okay, so now we have the row number. Okay, so as I mentioned, like wherever we will have the duplicates, or at that time we will have the more than one rows, right? So the condition would be, let me write the condition. So we can write the df final equal to df2 dot filter. We just need the filter condition. So the condition would be the rank. First of all, we need all the record where we have the rank equal to 1, right? Rank equal to 1. So this is the condition 1. And if this condition meets, then we need to return the record. The second condition is like for these records. So these record, what should happen? Let me show you. So these record, okay, let me remove this. For these kind of record where we have the duplicates, so the custom one should not be equal to custom three. Okay, okay, so this should be and, by the way, and custom 2 should not be equal to custom 4. So this thing we need to write over here. So we can write column custom 1 should not be equal to column custom 2. This is case 1. Let's put this entire thing in parenthesis. And okay, that should be or only. Okay, this should be or. Okay, so this is or. Um, so this should be or, and we can write the same. We can just copy paste and put it here. So the custom 1 should not be equal to custom 3, and custom 2 should not be equal to custom 4, right? This is done. This is also closed properly. And yes, I think we have the final answer. So we can write df final dot so. Let me run this. Okay, cannot convert. Okay, okay, okay. So this instead of all, like we need to have like this. Okay, so now you can see we have only 5 records, not 6 record. Earlier we had 6 record, and we have the required output. So basically, if you can see here for this one, we have as it is, like how we wanted. For this one, since this is the duplicate, uh, but these values are not same, like the custom columns are not same, that's why we have this record. And for these, the first record and the last record, we don't have any pair, so these records came as it is. So yes, I think we got our required answer, but we don't want all this these two columns, right? So we can just have the select statement over here, and we can write brand 1 we need, and then we need brand 2, similarly year column, and custom columns, right? So custom 1 comma custom 2 column comma custom 3 and custom 4. So these 4 record, and we can just simply write so. So yes, I think this is our required output. This is what we wanted. So yes, if you like this content, please do like, subscribe, and share the channel. You can check out our channel. We have a lot of interview related content on PySpark, SQL, DSA, Pandas, Python. You can practice those questions. So let's meet in the next problem. Until then, bye.